Talent versus hard work. How much of my artwork is the result of natural talent and how much of it is a result of hard work? Put in practicing, developing, learning skills. If a person has natural talent, does that mean they don't have to work as hard to excel in their art? Is it even worth trying to excel if you don't feel like you were born with any natural talent? We use the word talent very broadly, really to apply to any aptitude in any area, but probably most particularly in the area of art, the arts, music, sport. But we also talk of a talent for numbers, of a talent for reading. And talent is a word that is usually applied to people quite early in their life, when they're a child, in recognition of some area of life, some activity where they seem to excel, where they seem to be ahead of their peers with an ease and a confidence and an ability beyond what would be expected. And in fact, when they're engaged in this activity, their personality can often seem to come alive. They can be energized with a vitality that goes beyond their normal attitude. But for all that, is talent really a thing at all? Does it really exist? Or if it exists, does it even matter? But I think there's one helpful context to think about: is talent a thing? And what is it really? And that's when the concept of talent becomes a barrier to my feeling that I can pursue something that I otherwise am interested in pursuing. So why can the concept of talent be a barrier? Well, have you ever had thoughts such as this? Do I have enough natural talent to draw? Is it worth my pursuing this area of art with my natural talent level? Those people have more talent than I do for drawing, so they're always going to do better than I do. Because while drawing skills can be worked at, we are seemingly born with talent, and I have whatever amount I have, and that's a limitation I can't really overcome. Do you find yourself ever thinking, am I wasting my time putting effort into this? Could I ever do this to a high standard without enough talent? Have you ever watched someone create an artwork with seeming effortless ease and thought, I could never do that, I wish I had their talent? Have you described the artwork of others as being a result of their natural talent rather than as a result of hard work and endless dedication and practice? I can still tell you the names of the students in my high school art class who I thought had way more natural talent than I had for art. Students whose work was always going to get higher marks than mine. Now there's a sad story. So I want to spend just a moment thinking about what are we actually describing when we use the word talent? Because I think we use it so easily, quickly and generalized that it often doesn't really have a specific meaning at all. So if I'm talking of someone having natural talent in their drawing, what things am I saying they've got natural talent with? Because drawing isn't a thing. It's actually a bringing together of quite a lot of things, of a lot of abilities and processes. Drawing is in fact the end result of a lot of other things. And so if I'm talking about a talent for drawing, I'm really talking about a talent for doing all of those things. So what's needed to do well with drawing? Firstly, an ability to focus on a particular task, an ability to organize sequentially in some way. I have to see something, I have to analyze it in my mind, I have to strategize how I'm going to transfer or translate an object into a different form, into lines on paper. And then I have the actual drawing, the actual putting of those lines into the places that my mind is telling me are the right places to put them. I need careful and accurate observation or a good level of imaginative visualization that ends up being concrete enough that I can transfer it onto paper. I need some level of an ability to think in an abstract way. When I look at textures such as hair and trees and grass that I can't possibly draw with a line for line detail, I have to have some way of representing that. I need to have perseverance. A lot of drawing is very repetitive. I have to be able to hold my pen, control my hand, have all that eye-hand coordination ability. So when I say someone's talented with drawing, I'm actually saying they're talented in being able to do all these things and coordinate them together. I came across a different definition of talent that I've been thinking about, and that said that talent isn't so much linked to ability but rather the passion, the drive, the desire to do something. That's the thing that some people are born with for certain areas. That might give them some advantage, or at least explain a faster advance in some areas over other people. Where because of that passion, that drive, we pour more of our time and effort and resources into that area than most people would. And this did make a lot of sense. When I was a boy, I certainly had a passion for drawing. It was an activity that I did frequently and for lengthy periods of time. Or was it that there just wasn't much else for me to do at home? That there weren't many other resources or much encouragement to do other activities? But pencil and paper were much more easily available than anything else. Maybe it was a chance compliment at home or at school for something I'd drawn that made me desire more affirmation. And so I kept drawing, hoping to repeat the positive response from significant people around me. And because of that, it was also a way I felt good about myself. So because I felt good and positive when I was drawing, it made it an activity of even greater choice. So with this passion and drive and time commitment, it's not surprising that in my drawing I began to pull ahead perhaps of the level of my peers. But rather than being caused by a strong desire to draw that somehow I was born with, it's just as possible, if not more, that my strong desire to draw was caused by factors that really were outside of me to begin with. Some chance result of some drawing that I did. So what's the conclusion of all this in the talent versus hard work contest? Is talent real? If it is it more significant than the work I might put into drawing? Firstly, I think it's not a particularly relevant question, because if there's nothing I can do about it, there's nothing I can do about it. And secondly, I think it's an unhelpful question, because the concept of talent is probably only going to end up either encouraging me or discouraging me for the wrong reasons. But personally, what do I think? I don't personally believe there's such a thing as natural talent in the way that we commonly understand the term. But I do believe that being born with a natural creativity is in our DNA and part of being human. We are all born with the desire and the ability to create, understanding that word in the widest possible sense. And if for any reason, by choice or by chance, we concentrate that drive for creativity, that passion, that ability to create into certain areas more intensely, particularly as a child, then we're quite likely to pull ahead of our peers in terms of the outcome of those efforts. And I think this understanding is actually good news for us, because it tells me that the effort I put into my drawing, not just in the time I put into it, but in the quality of the time, will be the most important driver in my progressing and developing in my drawing. And of course, this includes input from teaching, from other artists whose works inspire me, from parents, from teachers, from other significant people in our lives. And it's not saying that everything will be equally easy or hard for everyone. It's not saying we're all born in the same starting place for doing this. But being born with a natural talent, being born with a starting point that's well ahead of other people, being born so that the things we need to do to excel in drawing will come easier to us than to other people, is not one of them. Excelling in drawing is made up of too many different parts that all come together for that end result, for it to be as simple as being born with a natural talent. So don't let the thought that you may not have been born with enough talent discourage you from drawing, discouraging you from pursuing a passion or a desire to draw or to create in any field. Put energy and hard work into your passion. It's called practice, practice, practice. But practicing with wisdom. I'm Stephen Travers. Look, I hope you found this helpful. These are just my thoughts. Maybe one day I'll change them. But right now, for the experience of my life, this all seems to make most sense this way. Whatever you're thinking, keep drawing, have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.